Jay Kelly is the latest movie from director Noah Baumbach and, and focuses on a famous actor who begins to question the choices he's made in his life that essentially led to his success, but at the expense of his family. And one thing to note with Jay Kelly is probably the casting of George Clooney in the lead role. You could say he's essentially playing a fictionalized version of himself. This famous actor who essentially only plays himself. In fact, near the end of the movie, they just show clips from George Clooney's movies. So if you're not really into like personality actors and think George Clooney is overrated, I don't know how you'll take this movie, since Jay Kelly is not a likable character. Quite the opposite. Is very much a character who very much you don't really change your mind on. It very much shows many of his faults. Who's essentially thrown many people he's loved to the curb in service of himself. And honestly, he doesn't really change in the movie. Like, he definitely comes to regret these decisions, but he's still essentially the same person he was in the beginning of the movie, I would say. And and as for all the other performances in the movie, I think there's honestly one really big standout for me, and that's Billy Crudup. He only has, I think, one, maybe two scenes in the movie, but it's definitely a performance that definitely stuck with me the most. Definitely makes the most of his screen time. Adam Sandler also has a supporting role as the manager, and he's pretty good in this. Definitely very subdued and subtle performance. Not really very big and showy, unlike say Uncut Gems. And honestly, yeah, most actors in this are good. I just but this movie is very good throughout. The middle definitely where it kind of lags a bit and does kind of feel like we're kind of struggling to find our footing a bit, because we do kind of play around with memory and perspective a lot throughout that. We're kind of jumping into these flashbacks, going back to the present, kind of just going in and out. And honestly, it doesn't always work, I feel like, considering in some cases I think it does work, but in other cases I'm like, this really didn't really need to be here. This could have been spent on more interactions with his daughter, if I'm being honest. But I would say, if I'm comparing this to all of Noah Baumbach's films, I would say this is definitely one of his most experimental, at least in stands of like cinematography and score. This is definitely not his standard kind of kitchen sink drama movies. He's kind of become famous and it is interesting to see him kind of take such a big swing with this movie. And I think if there's one thing I feel like this movie does deserve a nomination for, I think it's the score. The score definitely is very reminiscent to me of movies like La La Land or say Babylon. Very very classical. A lot of it done through like piano. It's very calming, and honestly, I wouldn't mind listening to it like on its own. It's very good score. And honestly, I think this movie's a good probably a 7, 8 out of 10. I don't think it's Noah Baumbach's best, but I think it's pretty solid. I think it's definitely worth a watch. Worth a watch if you're kind of willing to sit through the over 2 hour runtime. Time. A very good movie that I think is definitely going to give cinema lovers what they want.